Some historical records erroneously portray Jango Fett as the last living Mandalorian after the bloodshed of the Mandalorian Civil War. In truth, he was only one of the last legitimately practicing true Mandalorians. A handful of exiles like Montross still roamed. Sparse remnants of the original movement like Jango's former subordinate Silas were not present at Galadran for the massacre. Entire factions and organizations, like Mandel Motors, were still active in the chaos of the Great Clan Wars, consuming Mandalore. Jango's lack of involvement in the woes and general affairs troubling his people is a testament to the disillusionment Jango suffered with the Mandalorians as a whole. After renowned Mandalorian warlord Adonai Kryze falls in battle, his daughter Satine Kryze, with support from Jedi Knights, rises into power as Duchess of the New Mandalorians. Spouting pacifist ideals, and backed by military and financial elements of the Old Republic, the New Mandalorians exile many of the more radicalized warrior clans off-world. Death Watch enthusiasts who follow Tor Vizsla's rhetoric in reviving the Mandalorian Crusades are disarmed and sequestered away on Mandalore's moon Concordia. True believers like Tor Vizsla's clan member Pre Vizsla and Satine's sister Bo-Katan Kryze begin secret plans to revive their movement, taking off-world military contracts to procure funding, or infiltrating the new Mandalorian government to eventually topple it from the inside. A great many Mandalorian warriors, unaffiliated with the Death Watch, also commit to nomadic mercenary work outside of Mandalore, as was already commonplace, but now further incentivized with the unreliable landscape of their homeworld. A sect referred to as the Old Mandalorians intentionally distance themselves from the political unrest and clan rivalries sprung from the Civil Wars, and relocate to other worlds as their new homes. Alternatively, a number of Mandalorian clans, smaller groups, and individuals remain on Mandalore in settlements outside of New Mandalorian control. While Satine has the new Mandalorian capital, Sundari, reinforced with a newly armored Mandalorian guard and her personal Royal Guard, traditionalists maintain their regular warrior practices and defer to the authority of respected police units, headquartered at their own capital city of Keldabe. Duchess Satine disavows the title of Mandalore and dismisses the supercommando Jango Fett as a lone agent with no recognized standing in her regime. Jango's reputation as an exemplary warrior, respected leader, and slayer of Jedi, and the values espoused in the Supercommando Codex, persist in other Mandalorian circles. Local boys Fen Shiza and Toby Dala will become dutiful constables among the traditionalists, and voice their admiration for Jango. But where is he during all of this turmoil afflicting his people? Jango did operate as an independent agent, only nominally carrying the Mandalore title, since he devotes his time to new endeavors. He still remembers the tenets of Jaster's Codex, and follows his own sense of honor. But Jango considers the crippling of the Death Watch his last great contribution to the Mandalorian people, and feels no desire to involve himself with the rising power of the new Mandalorians. Holding to his personal honor as a warrior, overcoming worthy foes, and fattening his credit accounts rise to the top of his priorities. The most optimal path to achieving these goals comes naturally to Jango: freelance bounty hunting. The fugitive Zabrak racer, Urun Noth, his thrill-seeking nature leading him to spurn his corporate Sorosub sponsors and spoil the goodwill of his aristocrat father. The Rhodey and Harano, an enthusiastic big game hunter who made himself an enemy to both burly Wookiees and bloodthirsty Trandoshans. Orphaned runaway brawler Turnia Masik, assigned a bounty for her slights against powerful crime lords, and targeted for her untapped potential as a trained, force-sensitive fighter. From whatever walks of life they may come from, few quarries of Jango Fett escape his grasp. So successful are Jango's hunts that even entire planetary governments come to gladly seek him out to hire his services, sanctioned by Republic law or otherwise. Dead or alive, his targets are always delivered as promised. Over time, Jango strikes a working relationship with a Toydarian, Razada, owner of the underworld gladiatorial arena Outland Station. Roz, as her friends call her. acts as an intermediary in high-profile jobs for Jango in exchange for a hefty finder's fee. Under Roz's direction, Jango exposes conman Miko Ginty, rigging the Beast Pit fighting games at Outland Station, and arranges his delivery to the prison Desolation Alley at Uvo 4. Afterward, Roz informs Jango of the latest bounty opportunity to catch the eye of every hunter of his caliber in the galaxy. The anonymous Lord Tyrannus posted a bounty available to a select few to claim a reward of 5 million Republic credits. The target? Komari Vosa, dead or alive. In truth, the name Tyrannus is drawn from the Sith title Darth Tyrannus, claimed by Dooku, Count of Sereno. The former Jedi Master reached his breaking point with what he viewed to be a far too complacent, ineffectual Jedi Council, acting as the short-sighted tools of a corrupt galactic senate. The death of his first Padawan, Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn, at the hands of the Sith assassin Darth Maul, was the final nail in the coffin. Yet when Dooku disappeared from the public eye, he fell victim to the machinations of Sith Lords Darth Plagueis and Darth Sidious. Newly elected Supreme Chancellor Palpatine already shared a rapport with the esteemed Dooku, so when Palpatine revealed his true identity as Darth Sidious, the allure of the dark side and the changes a Sith regime could enact on the galaxy was far too tempting for Dooku to resist. As Dooku delved into the dark arts of the Sith, Palpatine charged him with finding a suitable Prime Clone template to use in the creation of a Grand Army of the Republic. Dooku was also tasked with eliminating his ex-apprentice Komari Vosa, who had fallen to the dark side and now led the cult of assassins known as the Bando Gora, a group which became a major irritant to the Sith Grand Plan. Dooku elected to accomplish both missions in one fell swoop, posting a bounty on Vosa for only the most renowned hunters, and choosing whoever defeats her as the clone template. This means Jango is not alone in his hunt, challenged by rival warriors boasting their own formidable arsenals and perfected skill sets. The Mandalorian outcast Montross is one of these challengers. In the years since his exile, Montross also took up bounty hunting. While money is a practical consideration, Montross's true motivation to hunt is for the thrill of pursuing a target and taking their life, proving his own superiority over all who are felled by him. During the instability wrought by the Mandalorian Civil War and the Great Clan Wars, Montross also defiled the resting place of Jaster Muriel, and mounted Jaster's armor in his private home. Jango's personal starship by the time of the Bando Goro hunt is Jaster's outdated ship, renamed the Jaster's Legacy, and Jango vows to honor its namesake, and eventually settle things between himself and Montross, as he did with Tor Vizsla. Another competitor appears in the beautiful huntress Zam Wessel, though neither her name nor her human face are real. She is a clawed-eyed shapeshifter, able to assume the form of most humanoid species. She is infamous for her own share of successful bounty hunts and assassination jobs. While Jango and Montross's rivalry is full of unrepentant animosity, the tension between Jango and Zam leads into a relationship built on mutual respect and a healthy amount of distrust. It is during their partnership when they devastate Desolation Alley in a prison riot, and when Jango replaces Jaster's Legacy with his signature ship, Slave One. Over the course of the hunt, Jango dismantles the Bando Gora conspiracy of criminal gangsters, corrupt senators, and tainted death sticks, gathering recruits to brainwash into loyal subjects dedicated to serving Komari Vosa. After besting alien gunslinger Longo Two Guns, Jango turns him over to Jabba the Hutt, who sees use in Jango as a tool for his feud against Gardula the Hutt, a member of the Bando Gora syndicate. Jango feeds Gardula to her pet Krayt Dragon before slaying the beast. Roz decrypts data stolen from Gardula's palace to learn where Komari Vosa holds her cult's headquarters, but Montross intercepts the data and brutalizes Roz. Jango arrives at Outland Station too late to save her, giving Roz what little comfort he can before she passes. Determined more than ever to make Montross pay, Jango travels to Kalma, a burial moon of the planet Bogdan. When the two warriors meet for the last time, Montross dons his old Mandalorian helmet and has his final battle with Jaster's son. For all of Montros's bloodlust and hunting prowess, he is still soundly defeated by Jango. Lying on the floor beaten, Montross wails, demanding he be given a better death than this pathetic downfall, with Jango coldly looking over him, satisfied with eliminating one of the last mistakes he never fixed during his days as Mandalore of the Super Commandos. Jango walks away, allowing mad Bando Gora cultists to maul the still conscious Montross to death. Montross's screams echo behind Jango as he moves to confront his true quarry, Komari Vosa. However, Vosa has her own sadistic tendencies and captures Jango, subjecting him to torture and interrogation to learn the identity of his client. She also hopes to break Jango's will and turn him into another Bando Goro's slave. But Zam infiltrates where Jango is being held and frees him. Another duel is held between Jango and Vosa. Unlike the Jedi slain by Jango on Galadran, Vosa has immersed herself deeply in the dark side, lacking the same restraints as her former peers. But the power of the dark side also begets overconfidence that gives her no advantages against the galaxy's greatest bounty hunter of his time. Jango triumphs over Vosa, but it is Count Dooku who lands the finishing blow, using the Force to choke the life out of his fallen apprentice. Still using the name Tyrannus, Dooku provides Jango his reward money and another incredible offer: become the clone template of a vast army, which Jango will train and model in his own image. The details are finalized at Dooku's private lair, also situated among the moons of Bogdan, hidden from the now disbanded Bando Goro cult. For this meeting, Jango learns of Tyrannus' past as a Jedi Knight, one who participated in the Battle of Galadran. Distrustful of the Count, Jango gives himself an advantage in the negotiations. He covertly infects Dooku with the Karatos Plague, a virus Jango was already inoculated to as a farm boy on Concord Dawn. The antidote is aboard Slave 1, which is set to self-destruct should Jango's heart stop beating. Dooku is impressed, and he in turn impresses Jango by subtly entering a meditative state to purge himself of the virus with the Force. Jango's opinion might have shifted another way if he knew that Dooku captured his old friend Silas, tortured him, and killed him while researching Jango's past. Instead, as they talk, an understanding is struck between the self-righteous Sith Lord and the Mandalorian loner. Thanks to their shared distaste for the Jedi Order, they both feel has wronged them. Dooku informs Jango of the clone army's ultimate purpose as a weapon of destruction against the Jedi institution, further incentivizing Jango to agree to the proposal. However, on top of the offers of money, revenge, and marking an unforgettable impact on galactic history, with his face used in the mightiest army the galaxy will see yet, Jango makes one important request before agreeing to the deal. Raz's influence on Jango, encouraging him to leave behind his own legacy, just as Jaster Muriel had adopted Jango and turned him into his legacy, prompts Jango to ask for the first clone of the Fett genome, be created with no modifications, and for this clone to be given to him. This clone will be named Boba Fett, Jango's son and the heir to Jaster's legacy.